Hey everyone, I hope that you're okay and you can hear me. Everything is all good here. It's great to be talking to all of you lovely people again, and thank you for joining the stream. The stream is a continuation, for those of you who've been following for the last few weeks, upon that of our stealth level. So I'm really excited to chat about all this with you all. So yeah, we're going through some of the changes I made and also the final section that I'm on right now. Starting to prop it out. I've got the shell of the building done and just kind of just propping it up, making sure that everything works and all that stuff there. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and we're going to go through a bit of this. Tell me if the music's too loud as well. Maybe you won't even hear it, but just let me know, because obviously making sure that we get this right there. What is going on, Artful? And awesome, glad it sounds all right. Thank you for joining me, buddy. I'm glad that you're here with me today, mate. So, as I was saying, we're going to go through, this is kind of our last step now, in terms of before it's ready to go and be seen by all the students on the XYZ course. So this is the kind of, like I said, I guess penultimate step, but I will actually be working on this later after the XYZ school as well, because there's still some things that I want to improve on, set up correctly, and yeah, just make it better, really, team. That's the plan. So yeah, let's just crack on with it. And I say, if you've got any questions about level design, game development, anything like that, please just let me know. I'll answer them the best that I can and go through. If you have any questions about why I'm doing certain things, again, please ask team. So I'll just show you one of the things that we'll go through today. Let's just get all this stuff sorted here. Yep. Turn that on for you all. Oh yes, I actually need to do the roof later. Anyway, yes. So one of the things that we talked about last time was the two paths that we have here, and roughly going on the difference between them, with the enemies on one side and the kind of the more stealthful route on the other hand. And one of the things that I noticed is, although I said there's some changes I need to do with the actual paths, it overall feels decent. It still needs to be iterated upon, but I can feel that we're making steps in the right direction. But one of the things that I noticed that was kind of wrong, I won't say wrong, it was thanks to playing with it with you all that I was able to actually notice, an issue with it. So, I'm glad you recognize it, my friend. Yeah, we've been streaming this for the last few weeks, so if you can see some on Twitch, but it's also on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/leveldesignlobby, in which you can go see the other steps building up to where we are today, my friend. But one of the things that I noticed is there was another guard down here, right? And after just playing it and walking around with everyone, I noticed it just didn't feel that there was a downbeat. It was constantly like duh, 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 in terms of pacing with this path. And although yes, we wanted to establish that there is a big difference between this path in terms of tension versus the other path, the problem with doing this is there wasn't a downbeat. And one of the things you want to do with stealth is you want to give that sense of accomplishment in terms of the challenge. Not necessarily all the time, but there's that tension, right? The build up and then the release. And sometimes you want a better release, like you feel the progress with the player. They want to feel like, okay, I've figured out puzzle one, whether this be going past an enemy, getting through a gate, going past security camera, all of these things. But with this one, there was too short of a distance from here to the enemy that was previously here. Like you could walk around here, but realistically, the path was, we just come down here, and there's already another enemy here. And then there's just an enemy up top here, and they were too crowded to say that they're supposed to be a separate location. Let's actually sort this out as well. So after I said luckily after streaming with all of you amazing people from last time, I realised this mistake, so I've decided to remove the enemy from here, and that way we've got a bit more of a downbeat. We put some sort of loot and collectibles around here, just something again where the player feels, you know, that sense of okay, we got the relief. And then I like this, I still like this as we crawl through the space. I might move this further down here just so you're not right on top of the enemy. But we still have that nice transition. Okay, now the enemy's up here. We can't take them out, so it's about studying the path and making our run for it. And now we have the warehouse. I'll just call it Pear Drop because it's a little reference to me. So why not have some fun with it? But that sign, I won't lie to you, does not look the prettiest. But the good news is that it works great for that vantage point here. Is that we can see it, we can see the sign, and then when we come down around, we get a different feel for it up here. We can get a better view over here, but that's when we start to lose sight of it as we make our way on either path as well. So sometimes it may feel like we're getting away, but actually we're still moving away, closer to it. So it's a nice little way to do that there. So yeah, that's kind of where we are currently with all of this team. Now I have started to block this one out, which is great. Sorry, I'm just gonna get everything. There we go. So now there's still this area to do, but what I want to do is start putting in the props and start to strategize and plan what we're going to do with this section of the level now. And for those of you who don't know, we've kind of got a rough idea and plan for this already, which is in play. So I need to know where to put security cameras, kind of put where I think I'm going to put the guards, the parking lot, the loading bay, all of this, which again, great to have, especially when you are starting out and making your levels. So yeah, we're going to be just going through that all of today, team. As I block it out, if you've got any questions, like I said, just let me know. Got some bathrooms here, and we've got some of the office, making it look like the office. I got here just for scale and reference, so we can make sure that it feels like there's enough space with elements already in here when it's willing to load and not embarrass me in front of everyone, as it takes a lifetime to load for me any minute now. There we go. Right, okay. This is the camera angle. We'll put the roof and we can see, but the space feels big and that. I actually, yeah, looking at it here, because it doesn't feel there's much space. It seems pretty easy in terms of being able to get there. So one thing is I will actually block this one off and make it so you can only come through these two. But also I think I'm going to extend this out, because with it being a warehouse, I want to make it a little bit bigger. The reason also is if, just pause this for a second, but if we turn on this, but because it's not very big in terms of height compared to other warehouses, I think it's better to extend this across, so that way, again, it still has that feeling of grandeur and still meets that kind of space here. Because right now, traversal still feels very quick. You know, I want it to feel like there's a bit more of a challenge here. Maybe I bring. So I'm going to extend this out actually. Now that we're here, testing it, moving around. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, just ask me, guys and girls, and I will answer them as I come through. space. So, Countermat, it's going pretty well. This is actually off kilter. Okay, that's the correct spot. Actually, just defragging selected everything. Pretty well, mate. How are you doing right now? I hope that you're well, bud. Probably want to bring them across with me. Alright, let's see if just adding 4 meters is good enough to give that space, or if we need to make it any longer around here. Let's see what we do. I don't know if that is. Let's see, let's check and test. I say when you're doing this as well, it's always important to keep testing and moving around when you've got your character set up, your 3 C's of it all, character, camera, and all that. So that feels better. So yeah, feels nicer. Let's give it 2 more meters, and I think that should be the correct distance for it all. I think that team. Okay. Now again, this is all done through feel as well. Like, I think that's an important thing to state to everyone. Is it's about always testing to see what feels right. You're never just going to guess it. You know, what I've done on my 2D paper design is a rough idea. It's not necessarily the correct measurement. You know, it's me having a rough idea. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, cheers, Countermat. He says, for those of you who are not on the YouTube stream, he says it's just dropping by to say that the LDL videos are really helpful and keep it up. Well, thank you very much, mate, and I'm glad that you found use out of them. This is what the podcast is about, and these streams too, T, is it's all about trying to make sure that you all get something out of it. It's you know, people sometimes ask, what has it inspired me to do this? You know, the book's coming out too. The reason I do this, team, is so that it's because I wish I had something like this back when I was at university and wanting to be a level designer, because the fact that level design isn't, there's more and more amazing LDs actually going into teaching, which is great, but when I was in doing my course at university, level design wasn't really represented well, in my opinion. So if I can give some of you lot a chance to learn from my mistakes and make sure that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did, well then, to me, that's the most important thing then, team, is the fact that you can hopefully become better and quicker in a sense for it versus me. So yeah. Hey Derek, how's it going, my man? You good? Alright, so I wonder why that isn't. We are there, so I think that's going to be the correct measurements for that. Also, team, I want to give everyone a heads up. Let's use the snapping tool here. So I'm very excited to announce that the Level Design Weekend will actually be taking place the end of June. The end of this month, you'll be able to get ready and join me for the level design weekend, and that's really exciting for me, and hopefully you'll be excited about it too. For those of you who are wondering what is the level design weekend, the level design weekend is really about, I will set you a level design task where you have to make a level based inside a game, and you have to do that over sometimes a 4-day weekend or just a weekend. It's very similar to level design tasks that you will get inside the industry. The reason I do it is, one, it's great for your portfolios because you get to make a level and you get to test yourself, and what's nice about this is, even if you don't use that for your portfolio piece, you will then understand that you don't actually need to go make a game to make it, yes, artful, like a level design game jam. The previous one we just did was a level based in Death Stranding. Before that was in The Last of Us. Another one was in Deus Ex. We've done a range of amazing stuff which people have done, and then not only that, but once you finish, you'll submit to me, then I'll actually give you personal feedback. And like I said, it's a great way to also prepare you for what a level design test is like. So if you do want to take part of that, which I said it starts at the end of this, let me just pick the right date so I know when it comes. When is it? Okay, awesome. So it will take place on the 25th of June is when I'll release it on the Thursday, and then you will have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I can hand it in on Monday. So this is when it'll take place, the 25th of June. So I haven't decided and I won't announce the game yet, but it will be something exciting. And if you do want to take part in that team, then head on over to the patreon.com/the level design lobby. That is is the level 10 tier, and that's where you get to take part in it. There's not only that great community and great other perks and rewards that you'll get alongside, but if you want to take part, like I said, head over to the Patreon in order to gain that. Now Derek says, I didn't get any real level design teachings in his course. It was more game art and design degree. It's a similar thing, mate, with me, so I think that's why it's a bit of a shame, because there's so much to teach, right? And I'm not necessarily blaming the courses, because there's a lot to teach, and when you're teaching for a university, it's very different, too, because you've got to consider a few different things, etc. when doing so. So yeah, so with these though, I hope that it just helps people get a better understanding. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that all. Yeah, got a bit of the chills. So yes, but like I said, that's when it's coming out. I'm excited for it, and I hope to see all of you there. As I said, you'll get feedback from me, and then what's great about that is you can choose to address that feedback, and then hopefully, like I said, add it to your portfolio as a nice and brilliant piece for everything that you all do, team. So yeah, it's pretty exciting, and I hope that you'll be excited for it too. Hey, the Sunny, I'm glad that you saw the interview. He says hello, dropping by after your interview at XYZ. Well, I'm glad that you liked it, mate. It was fun sitting down with those lovely people and chatting about it all and stuff. Artful asked, what university did you graduate from? I went to Teesside University in England, and overall, I had a great time. I learned a lot, some great tutors, and if it wasn't for them, you know, I'm not sure my career would have played out the same way. Very grateful, but as I'm saying, it doesn't mean that they were perfect. They're still learning and growing, which makes it exciting. So yeah, there's still a lot for all of us to learn. So yeah, that's really a great place that I went to there, mate. So yeah, floor. So that way I can see the damage that needs to be fixed here. And you connect it to this. There's floor and a half here. Let's just move you to where we need to go. Stairs that we have. Over here. Cool. All right, so we've got a few more questions. Off goes one of the harder things at the moment, lack of interaction with my tutors due to lockdown. Okay, so yeah, I'm really sorry to hear about that, mate, because it's obviously not great. I think the thing is what you've got to look at this errors here, guys. Sloppy freaking design on my part. One of the things you've got to try to do is maybe try and ask for that extra time with them if you can arrange calls, right? How are you not seeing that? That's one of the things that I try to do. It's hard for us all right now. With that, so if you can try just communicate. How are you not registering this fucking comment, guys? I would recommend, yeah, like I said, just try and get that for a team. So I just want to explain some of the dodgy fucking metrics that I got going on. Is because of my character, to match him for his character height, not everything is precisely 1 meters. I've had to scale things up, so that's why things are a little bit off and askew, which is there. So I apologize for that. Yeah, so just try not learn from those bad habits of mine, everyone. Okay, there we go. Release. Yeah, online courses, I can't imagine it being super easy during this time period. So yeah, mate, I'm sorry to hear about that. Cool. Spence asks, do you think having one standardized practices across the industry would help student ability to break into the industry? Oftentimes when I watch Q&As with industry folks, one of the most common questions usually depends on the games studio. I would love to see more. I don't think that will ever happen. I think it's a sorry. Do you know what's worse is I've got my, I don't know if you can see him here, but my little sack boy on here, which is a nice little gift from my best mate Stephen, and it's a lovely little thing that decorates my mic, but you won't be able to see it with this. Sorry Spence, mate, you were asking about making a global standardization for it. I don't think that can happen, and not because people don't want to. People are actually trying. Like I've seen people across, even inside big studios like Ubisoft. Sorry, just trying to make sure that this is actually my height. They have different words in their different studios across globally, let alone being like, I'm saying this when I visit LA or like meet other people from America. Like the way that the phrases that I use are very different. Like for example, in America they refer to cover buffer, which to me is cover spacing, and that's just lingo, let alone practices. All that means is is the distance between cover, your cover buffer from one piece to the next. And neither term is wrong or right, just let's get that out of the way. But I'm just using that as an example of how different things can get. Now, the other thing is, it says with game. That is important because every game is so different, right? Like, so most of you will know that I'm on Cyberpunk, but I came on from that from The Division, and I was like, oh yeah, like I understand combat because I'd done combat in all this Division work, but then it's like combat in Division is so different versus what you're going to see there, obviously, because of the camera perspective, third person versus first, that changes things. But that's just an obvious. But when you look at another example like Doom versus Call of Duty, you can see how that the pace changes everything, right? So that's already some differences. So and also it's like any creative practice. There isn't a one-size-fits-all. Everyone, because it's creative, everyone has different ideas and different ways to think how it should be done. Naughty Dog don't use producers, other studios do. Some level designers are actually the same as mission designers. Some people have separate roles for that. So that's why it's all changes. I don't think that will impact you getting in or not getting into the industry though. And that's a big thing, is that I wouldn't worry about standardization. It's more about learning the right techniques, because you'll be taught different techniques when you're in the industry, right? But if you can kind of learn and start to get your own good grasp on how to best build a level in terms of your practices, that will make you stand out for sure, mate. So think about that more than, because like I said, are you hoping that everything's going to standardize? Just sadly not going to happen, mate. But my advice is, as I said, really take a look at your practice, how you do it, how you build a level from scratch. How is it that you find metrics, building these elements together? So once you kind of have your pipeline, people can help shape, mold, and bend that. And then this is when you'll start to, especially when you visit different and work at different studios. I mean, if you don't, you'll do this because every project's different too. Is that you'll start to, like, this is the best way to describe it. As a junior, you learn from everyone. You're just soaking it all in as a sponge. As an intermediate, you're starting to find your own path. What is the things that you took from everyone that works for you, and drop some things that may not apply in terms of how you like to work. And then by senior, you've kind of perfected is a bit of a strong word, but you've got your process nailed down. You'll still adapt and change as elements go, because you're always learning on the job. But that's our best advice. I hope that helps, Spence, mate. Derek asks, so experience, are most levels done in meters? Yes, in my experience, it's just easier because most of them will have some sort of grid here. I don't know if other ones aren't. That's a good question. I might need to ask some great people about that. But mine have all done in meters, and it's a great tool to use. But like I said, some places use Maya and other kits like that. Never used them. I've always used blockout kits. Here's the fact in the game editor, I can just jump in and play, mate. So yeah. Artful asks, even just the term of blocking is different. Yeah, white box, block mesh, blockout. Yeah, so that's always a good one. One tip I actually want to share with this one. I got this from my mate Manuel, who's a senior LD with me. He was the lead LD on Rime. What was it, Dying Light? He's at Tequila Works. He wasn't formerly at Tequila Works. Now he's here with me. Great guy, so much knowledge. God damn. It's like, you know, when you're around just such smart people, that's how fortunate I feel to be just be learning from these amazing people, because I don't know it all, team. Like, I'm still trying to learn. But he made a great point, and I've seen this in some other people, is that when everything's white boxes, so if you notice here, my actual grays for the floor and walls are different. The reason I do this is so it's easy to read. So when I'm staring at this, I know, okay, floor, wall. My eyes can distinguish the difference between these. If it's all just like one color, it's really hard to read and get like the perception of depth too. So that is one point that I always do, is try and make it different. I know in the source editor they make the walls orange. I'm not telling you which colors to use. You'll figure it out. The reason I don't use that though is I have a color system of my own. Orange for me is signifying low cover, right? Blue signifies high cover. So that way artists who take over know which cover I need and what they need to what they I recommend to be used when they replace it with actual props. Ryan asks, cheers Max, got a question. What do you think is the most effective way to express that you are a competent LD? What makes you look at a portfolio and say, oh, okay, yeah, I think they'd be a good fit? I'm sorry, I thought I heard something. It's your portfolio, mate. You'll get asked questions in the interview to know more, but it really is your portfolio. Like, seeing a good level, it doesn't need to be perfect, but like, understand that there's design intent behind it. With mine, for example, you can see, okay, there's an enemy here. If I come here, that this would be the first cover, I can see that there's path around it. So I've thought about, there isn't just an enemy and just stuff sporadically placed all over the screen. You can see that there is design to move players around. And, in the last stream I talk about where his patrol path is as well. So actually seeing design intent. You may not get it right. Excuse me, team. Like this, for example. We spoke in my last stream how I know I need to sit down, iterate and improve on these, but there's still design intent behind these. So you having strong intent and being able to demonstrate that is important. I'll never forget what a lead once said to me. It was the fact that they had someone do a test, and I'm not putting any names out for anyone because I don't think it's fair, but I think the importance of what's going to be said is very important for everyone to hear. So he came in to do an interview, again I'm not saying where, and the lead asked him to do just a quick level sketch for a scenario he'd given him for a level in this game. And he did it, and so the interviewer asked, okay, so what's supposed to be happening here, what's going on here? And the guy said, oh, I don't know, I've just put it here. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, oh, by the third iteration, it'll make sense. But that's what cost him the job, was the fact that he didn't have the intent. The guy who's interviewing him said, yeah, I know it's not going to be perfect the first time you design it. And he's right in terms of it'll get better by the third iteration. But if you don't have a clue in what you're wanting to happen here, it doesn't matter how many times you iterate, it's never going to be good because there's no ideas going down. So being able to clearly communicate your design intent, being able to show that there is a thought behind it is the best thing ever. And one thing I've been stressing, and I wish, again, team, I wish I knew this back when I was a student, was the fact that, and a big shout out to Peter Ellis on this one. He's an LD over at Naughty Dog, a fellow T-side graduate. So one of the things I wish I knew is that it's okay for you to show off blockouts. Like, I'm starting to show blockouts off in my portfolio for personal projects like so. I don't need to worry about being artified because that's not your job. Your job is to make great levels and clear intent on these levels. Like, this is grass, this is a mountain, this is dirt, this is water, this is our objective because we can see it from here. There is reward and denial. We've gotten closer, but we can't come down here. Now there's challenges, different ones having different effects, which will knock on to this. But I wish I knew that you can go make blockout levels like this in a game scenario. My worry was I always had to try think of a new game to do and show and make a level for. No, like, you can take games that you love, like God of War, Red Dead Redemption, Metal Gear Solid, Last of Us, Control, all these amazing games, and make your own little block out level for it. So that way you don't need to worry about having to explain points like that. You can do all this awesome stuff here in terms of blocking out for an already existing game, and that'll make your portfolio stand out. People will understand it much quicker than you trying to explain a whole game. All of this is what I recommend, mate. So I hope that answers your question, Ryan. Spence says, that's a great point. I'd follow up by asking if you think it'd be helpful to see a bit more transparency from studios on the process, workflows, so that a junior can start to model their own workflow on the studio they hope to work for. Yeah, I do wish that there was more openness. Oh yeah, I forgot to actually mention the finishing point, Pete. Yeah, so Pete was a former T-side student as well, and he actually came over to do a talk. And after the talk, because he did, Artful mentions a great article he did on the World of Level Design website, and it's about how he scripted that it's the first level of Killzone for the PS Vita, Killzone Mercenaries I think it was called, and it's a great level, really good level, and he was breaking it down. So then my final project for my final year was a mobile game. You know, I scripted the mechanics. You play this little knight, you've got to learn to jump. So one level you jump, you master that. Third level you learn about charging, and then so that's jumping was 1 to 3, charging was 5 to 6, and then 7 to 9 was you had a dragon follow you. But he brought this great point to me, because like, although I was doing the level design for it, the fact that I was scripting, making a whole mobile game, UI, character movement, animation, he was like, dude, this isn't level design. And it was like, oh god. But he's right, so bang on right. This is what I'm saying, where I'm so envious that I wish I knew this then, and passing it on to all of you, my friends, is that you can just make these, I say just, but like the ease in terms of getting to show off level design through this way, instead of like I can show you that still on my tablet, the game, and it's a lot of work, but like you get to do that. And what's great later is me and Pete met up last year, where he came to the Cyberpunk booth, because like I said, he's a Naughty Dog in LA, and I got to just bring him in and watch the presentation, and then we just had some drinks. So it's great to see him. We've got nothing but respect and time for him, because he really, with his words, really helped me. And the fact that we stayed in touch after that, you gotta love that. And so yeah, always a great man, Pete. So anyway, we're going on to other different things. Yes, so sorry, we were talking to Spencer, your follow-up question about openness and workflows. Yes, but I understand why certain things are, I think they're a little bit too locked behind closed doors, but I understand why, because think about it like this, all these leaks come out before E3, and I know you can have journalists being like, we're just doing our job, but I'll tell you who else is doing a great job, is marketing teams. They're not hiding stuff from you to be awful. They're trying to show you, like, in the best possible way, in an exciting way, about this product, which you will eventually get and receive. I really liked Hellblade's Dev Diaries. They were very open. But the thing is mate, you're going to learn from every studio that you go to anyway. And hopefully your teachings, people will teach you the right way to do things. If you watch all the streams, I've done this, I've talked you through my pipeline to get to here, where we are now. So you're going to learn, iterate, etc. So although I wish it was there, mate, there are still great resources, talks on GDC, other podcasts on how to set it up. So yes, I wish it was there for you, but you still have quite a lot of resources around in order for you to use, mate. So it's just about looking, which can be a bit of a pain. But like I said, not even just this level, I streamed Blocktober, all of my stages to get to my finished art gallery level. So you've got all that stuff to learn from. Not just me, like I said, I'm not perfect, I don't know everything. but if you do the research, dude, you're able to get through with it, mate. And I believe in you. I think you'll smash it out, Spence, mate. Tyler Ash, should we aim for having enemy AI in our portfolio blockouts? Would that be a minimum to include for blockout? If you can have it, awesome, go for it. Like, that's what I like to have. I've had it in a few. I've had it in this as well, but there was some bug, so I've just placed these static guys here for now. So you can place these, and that will go so far. But if you can, it makes it better. But it's not going to be a be-all or end-all. That's not going to destroy your chances, you know. But it's nice to have it. But there's so many packs right now in Unity and in Unreal that give you basic AI that you can use. So go for it. Add it where you can, team. Gameplay mechanics. So this one's difficult because if you're doing it how I mentioned, basing it on another game, you're not going to get necessarily the mechanics you want for it, but if you can highlight them, like for example, my visual language is anything with this purple here, you can see it here, oh my god, I've got the buttons, here is gameplay related, just so it indicates that this here is already a great way for me to know that this is the gameplay. I can plan my beats around it, and then when I get to it, add the mechanics later. So you can use that. You don't necessarily have to have it, but do highlight. If you're not going to be able to implement it, highlight it instead. So like I said, I've picked this checkered purple, so anyone who knows that if there's a checkered purple element or material on it, then it's somehow gameplay related. So just think about that when you're blocking out, my friend. Artful says, yeah, good stuff on pacing and beats, referring to Peter's article, and that he also met him in LA and he's a sound guy. Yeah, mate, super nice dude. Got nothing but nice things to say about him. You know, I hope to get him on the podcast actually moving forward. That's a long time coming. So Tiger Son Alex goes, first time joining a stream. I've only been here for like 50 minutes and damn, can only thank you and the great advice in general. Well, my friend, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you all for joining the stream, because it's because of this. It's worth doing and letting me know that I'm able to help out, because I want to help and make you again learn faster and learn from my mistakes. Anyway, we've gotten off a little bit from where we were. So yeah, that's kind of it, team, for it. So yeah, that's answered some good questions. Sorry, when I say it, that's me finished answering the current questions that we have for this. But like I said, keep the questions coming. I will keep answering to the best of my ability, team. You know, I will say we've got some great guest episodes coming out. Me and Evan Hill just recorded one yesterday, Monday. Evan is an LD at Naughty Dog, and he previously worked on Hyperlight Drifter and a few other great games, and I don't know why it's slipping my mind. We're only talking about 2 days, but it was great listening to him, because he's thinking about level design slightly different to me, especially being at Naughty Dog, where they've got such a strong tie-in with narrative. So he mentioned a lot about that, which opened my eyes a lot. So huge shout out to Evan. Got nothing but nice things to say to that man. You know, you just know when you're talking to someone who's just got the head screwed on right, and he for sure does. We've also got one upcoming with Steve, who is now game design director, and he's a great lad. Started off with level design as well, and he's talks about focusing it more from a gameplay point of view, how he tackles levels. And recently, one of the things I've been working on is an architectural point of view to try and make my spaces feel more believable. But after talking and getting to talk about what we're going to be discussing, so many amazing elements that go into level design and just make you go, take a step and go, damn, I've got to be better at all these things, which makes level design so exciting. Honestly, it's one of the things that I love about it. Always pressure, but yeah, very, very excited to get all these guests on. So stay tuned, team. We've got a good lineup coming up soon. And the next episode drops on Tuesday. I release an episode every Tuesday, and yeah, excited team, genuinely. Cannot wait. This is probably too big. We'll get back to that and address it later because I need some space for cars to come around. Vans to park up here. Yeah, okay, cool. Make sure we've got everything. Oh, we've got that. Let's run around as the character and actually see how it feels here to do all of that with us. Like I say, for those of you who've joined, we're having a level design weekend in June this month, at the end of the month, where we're doing a level design week. Yes, that's a lot better. Do you see now, like, especially when we prop that up, I said I'm going to close this gate because it's just too easy with all this straight space, even if I prop it out. But you see how, like, this feels more daunting now. Now, obviously, we can sprint across, but even then, that takes more time, which is what I'm after. So that feeling, to me, is what I'm after here. Let's get this blocked off here. So yeah, we're doing the level design weekend, my friends. Oh, Spence asked, how does the sewer section connect to the warehouse? So it doesn't actually connect with the warehouse. It leads to a construction part of the sewer down here. So we come down this kind of little waterfall to the sewer section, and then this little maze element that we've got going on. It still needs to be improved, but you go a long way around. There's some enemies, you move around, and then eventually you get up where there is some road works being done, and it leads you outside here, and this one leads you here. So yeah, that's how it connects. I didn't want it leading into it, just because the way that I'm connecting it all is like this. So you have your point, you come through, it spreads the level so I can get in the camera, and then eventually all paths will meet back into a funnel point after taking on the challenge. So it's always straight, challenge, options, back in, challenge, options, like that. So that's my kind of level process. Funnel points, choices and funnel points is my level design principles while working on this particular level. Not every level does it, but it's always something I like to try and do, which is add choices and make them meaningful and impactful. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, my friend, with that. Let's just turn off the upper floor now. So we can get a better view of everything here. Alright, coolio. Okay, we've got more people joining us. Hello, Teamwo, nice to have you here. Hello, my friend. Sorry, sir, I can't read your Russian name, but thank you, and it's nice to see you too, my friend. So thank you all for joining. I need to learn some more in Russian. Also, for the Russian listeners, because I know the podcast and the stream has been growing in popularity, I am looking at trying to make sure that the videos have captions in Russian. So some of them I'm still looking at, and that's what we're looking at moving forward. So I want to make sure everyone gets involved as best they can for it. Now, that's fine there. Subcreo says hello. Hello. We have got the bathrooms in here. Now, if you haven't, I've wrote an article on bathrooms. I put them there for believability. You know, I might even just block these off, but the fact that they're there just makes, like I've talked about, like loading my architecture to help better my level design. Knowing that there are toilets in a building, especially buildings relate on reality, will always help your work. Alright, so now that we've got that, let's actually start propping up this area team. I'm actually going to grab some water. Just give me a minute. I'm just going to put everyone in standby. Stay here. I'll be back in a minute. I just want to fill up my water bottle. What I want you to do while I'm going to fill up my water bottle is spam more questions, right, everyone? Spam more questions for me. always stay hydrated, everyone. It's always a life tip for you there. Stay hydrated. Do you know what I'm feeling? I'm going to stick on the soundtrack, which inspires me, because I'm not gonna just go for it. Cool. Back there. Back to work, everyone. Okay. So this here is the office area. We're going to have 2 guards here. Now, when you're doing stealth, and it applies back to this path here, a way to the way to keep the player and deter them from using a certain path is by showing them enemies, and especially static enemies. So for example, if we take this baddie over here, but if I have one, two, just chatting to themselves here, and this will deter the player, because one, they're near all the cover, so the player's like, oh no, I can't move close to them, and in fact they seem static. After a while, like, oh, I can't go from here. So yeah, that's one of the things. Spence asked, the LD bi-league weekly challenge are different from the weekend level design assignment. Yes, they are, my friend. So the bi-weekly ones are, put it more like this. So the bi-weekly ones are smaller and you have no time limit on them. I know some people have taken those and spent months, some that have just spent a week. They're completely up to you. The other thing is, I don't give feedback on the bi-weekly challenge, but the community is all about giving each other feedback, so you can get great feedback from them. But the difference is the bi-weekly, sorry, not the bi-weekly, the level design weekend, the levels are bigger, they're more structured, and actually what the design intent for them are. Like, for example, the latest bi-weekly level design was a traversal level based in a game, and it's just more about creating a fun space, while the level design weekend was more about a more structured one, should we say. It's about having your actual mission beats for that. So yeah, they're one of the big difference. And the other part is I'll actually review your work on that one, my friend. Okay. But yes, by having these here, it instantly makes you go, oh, I don't know if I should go here. The other thing is I'm going to add a security camera on top here as well. So there's already 3 things that are there to make you, oh man. Now if this was more like a Deus Ex kind of game, this would be a different option for you to go guns blazing. You'd see that this is the path for you. But because it's stealth, we have enough here to deter the player from even thinking about it. Alright. So yeah, there's a little tip for you. You need to populate the streets. So when you come from here or here, you still have cover when you essentially leave. Ladders is one of the hardest things to do because it's such a, especially near combat, you don't want the player to have their back turned or exposed. They're really hard to do. I think there's more to them than anything else, but yes. So what we can do, and again, if you notice here, this is a little checkered block, purple block, meaning that indicates it's about gameplay, their team. So yes, let's just bring this out a little bit. feel safe here. Oh my god, Bjorn, my friend. How you doing? Been too long. Been too long. Dude, we need to have a call and have a catch up. I hope you and your family are safe, mate, you know, with everything that's gone on with COVID and that, mate. But fuck, dude, great to have you here. We should actually do a proper catch up though, my friend. Okay. Need to come out. Maybe two. I think a bus actually might be too big. Oh, well, you know, mate. Let's get a call done either this week or this weekend, and just chat and have a catch up, my friend. And you know, get your rest, buddy. I'll speak to you soon, all right? For sure, man. Take it easy, you beautiful beast. And Andrew, hey, buddy. How are you doing? Good to see you join as well, buddy. Virtual beer indeed, my brother. We'll both buy a beer and have a chat through it. Okay, so we can see here when we come down, we can see the enemies and we're instantly into cover. That's always a good thing to have here. Why must I be such a beast? Favorite line. I would explain actually a difference between vantage point and decision point here. So a vantage point is essentially this, right? A vantage point is the fact that I can see my objective, I see where I need to go. That's a vantage point, is that I can see it and I see a lot of level and plot my paths. A decision point is something like this, much smaller, where I see a puzzle or a challenge and need to decide how do I tackle it. Do I go head on here, or do I look around and notice that there's actually something over here that I can use to take and move across to? So that is the difference between decision and vantage points. Let's push some bushes around here too. Yeah, because we can see when we come up here, we see the guards here, because this is turned. Alright, I like that. I like that one. Stick a boat down here, you know what I mean? Okay, van. That's what I want. Okay. Another handy little tip when you're doing stuff and making it believable is make sure that your gates can fit what you want here. So I already know this is here, that we can fit two in, so it might be a tight squeeze. So if I just open this up by a meter, that's better. So do check that as well, because it makes your spaces feel more believable. Can people hear the music, by the way? Let's turn that down a smidge. Peering into it, so I can see, and our eyes bounce from here to here. Now I'll put some stuff here because having all this negative space will draw you down that path. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Do we have any more questions? Because I'm actually going to start wrapping this up soon, everyone. Just because it's midnight, and you know, I need sleep for work and all that tomorrow for it. And that goes here. Okay. What am I going to do to help separate some of this stuff here? Make this look more like it's a front entrance. If we put some cars up here too, so it looks like this would also be a place that people park, and then we'll just add a fence here, just because although they would actually connect. Yes, my friend, that's it. I'm trying to help it so that when people see the truck, they head in that direction, buddy. It's a good spot. That's the design for it. Sorry guys, I got a fly here. For some reason it likes my face. Okay. Right. Let me just open up my pure ref as well. Just to help me. But yeah, here's something that I think is pretty cool. If you look here, how that's not, doesn't have two direct stories. You see how that ends there? Let me just turn on that. Oh, gosh darn it. All of this stuff. But if you look at this, that's the inspiration for, now I might pull this out a little bit later, but this doesn't have, the footprint of the first floor isn't the same as the footprint of the ground floor. And again, taken, you see out here, yeah, I'm going to bring this out because I want you to see the car park, so that helps, but you can see how that has really inspired the architecture for it. And I have these, I'm going to have these kind of roofs that you see here, like pear drop taken instantly from there, these kind of cutouts. I'm going to have with the roofs here as well to attract the eye, so you can see how the references have actually had an impact on that as well. For else what we got. And so this way we have going to block off that for the player to see. They know it's a dead end, but we will for sure add some loot down here. So my intent here now, team, is to make the player feel that they're even more breaking in to a space by adding these kind of, using shape theory of sharp points to make it feel more kind of jagged and shaded. Stretching, I shouldn't be stretching it, but you'll see. My point nonetheless. I said to him, please ask questions. I don't want it to be quiet or anything on the chat front. You know, even though I'm blocking this stuff out, I'm more than happy to still try answer the questions the best that I can. Okay. I'll need to tidy the actual folder structure. This is one of the things that I don't like about, I wish Unity had a better, like, you could activate these, so anytime I drag something in, it would go instantly into the group that I've selected. It would just make my life and everyone else's a tad easier. Okay. Do you know what, team? I've actually noticed the time, so I'm going to start wrapping this up here. But I do want to say before everyone heads off that again, at the end of this month, I'll be doing my level design weekend. So if you do want to join that, like I said, it's a kind of like a prep for level design task, as well as you being able to build a cool level for your portfolio. I will create the task, the intent for the level. That is happening on the, let me just say it again so I get the right number. That's happening on the 25th of June. Alright, team? So there, I will be sending you a task and you will be getting feedback once you completed it for the 4-day challenge. And now again, if you want to join that, then head over to patreon.com/leveldesignbobby, in which you will join the level 10 tier to participate. Now I cannot wait to see you all there, okay everyone? So take it all easy. I hope you've learned something from this, and I'll catch you all next time. See you all later. Thank you all, team. Bye.